What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be putting on a Super ATV heavy-duty tie rod kit on the OG Maverick. My buddy Bobby owns a shop here in town. He said he'd help me do it, so we're going to head over there and do it, and I'm going to show you why I'm doing it. The end links have some play, and stock OEM end links are like $50 a piece, which is $100. You can get this kit for like $250, I believe. So, and it's the whole kit, the inner, outer, and the whole rod. So let's get to my buddy's shop and we will start the install. So I'm here at Bobby's shop. This is Bobby. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and tell y'all about what he does here at Hicks Customs.
Hey guys, so I'm the owner of Hicks Customs here in College Station, Texas. Been doing ATV repair for probably 6 years now. I specialize in tire replacement all the way up to motor rebuilds. Today I'm going to be helping Jeff install his tie rod kit on his OG K&N Maverick. So let's take a look at what comes in the kit and let's get started. Hey guys, so in this Super ATV kit, we've got the tie rod shafts, the ball and sockets that's going to go into the steering gearbox. We've got the Heim joint style tie rod ends. We've got the bolts and the misalignment spacers that are going to go in these Heim joint ends. We've got the new boots. There is a bigger one and a smaller one. We're going to show y'all later which one goes on what side. We got the zip ties to hold those on. We got our instructions, and on these ball and sockets, we're going to use some blue Loctite on those when we go together. So let's get the machine apart and get started.
First, we're going to jack the front up and get the wheels off. All right, we got the wheels off. We're going to take off on both sides. We're going to take this little panel off so we can see the inner tie rod better. So that allows us to see up in here way better.
So we're on the passenger side right now. We've got the cotter pin that we're going to take off, and then we've got a 16 millimeter bolt head and a 19 millimeter nut. You can repeat these steps for the driver's side as well. It's going to be the same thing. I think the only thing different is going to be this, the boot size on the steering gear box, but we will get to that when we get there.
So the cotter pin did break on us, but that's okay because the kit has these cotter pins right here. So we already took the bolt and nut off right here, as you just saw. So now let's move on to the next step.
So next we're going to take this passenger side boot off. You have a clamp here that you can get with needle nose or pliers. And we also have a zip tie back here holding this to the actual gearbox. I'm going to go ahead and cut that real quick, which allows you to pull this boot off the gearbox. I'm gonna go ahead and get this clamp off with my needle nose. And then you can pull this back and expose your ball socket. All right, so next, we're gonna take our steering wheel, turn it all the way to the driver's side. That way we have more access to our ball socket. So since the kit comes with everything new to replace this whole entire assembly, we're going to skip all of this and go ahead and take it off here at the ball and socket. Now, factory OEM has no spots for you to put a wrench or crescent or anything like that. So I would say go ahead and try normal channel locks, but we're going to go ahead and use our upgraded channel locks.
Now we can twist by hand, right?
Yep.
Yep. Oh, almost.
Now we can use our regular channel locks.
Yeah, now you can use regular channel locks and twist it out and pull the whole assembly. we go. Tie rod is off.
So now that we've got everything off of the steering gearbox, we can go ahead and go on with the new stuff. We're going to start with our new ball and socket. We're going to use some blue Loctite on these threads. And since this ball and socket has your Hicks style spots for your wrench or crescent, you can actually tighten it up that way and you don't have to use your upgraded channel locks. Now that we've hand tightened our ball and socket all the way, take our crescent wrench and go in here. We can tighten it up. And now we're ready for the boot.
Now that we're ready to do the boots, this is where the difference comes into play. The smaller diameter hole is the passenger side that we're working on. This will be for the driver's side.
So in order to get this boot to slide on all the way, we're going to want to take our jam nut off of this ball and socket. Now that we've got our jam nut off of the ball and socket, we can take our new boot and slide it on. You're going to want to make sure you get this boot slid all the way onto the shaft here. It's got a little spot that you'll feel that pops into place. And you're going to want to make sure you get this all the way on the steering gearbox. All right, we're going to finish off this boot installation with some fresh zip ties that come in the kit. This back one might be a little hard to do. With a little bit of patience, you can get it on. And then you take your dikes, cut the excess off, and we're on to the next step.
Zip tie right there, and zip tie right there.
All right, so we're gonna take our jam nut that we took off of the ball and socket. We're gonna go ahead, thread it back on. You're gonna thread this jam nut all the way on. That way, our shaft, which has this knurled end, the knurled end needs to go towards your wheel. So we're gonna go ahead and thread this shaft on. We're gonna thread that on all the way. And you're gonna do this the same on both sides. That way when you go to adjust your toe in, you can do everything evenly. All right, we're ready to do our tie rod end here. We've got our jam nut all the way down, just like we did up here on the ball and socket. Remember, this is gonna be a left-hand thread here towards the wheel on your tie rod end. We're gonna go ahead and thread that all the way in, like I said.
And leave your jam nut all the way up.
Leave your jam nut all the way down, up, whatever you wanna call it. That way, this can be threaded in all the way. Your shaft can be threaded on all the way to the ball and socket. Like I said, do this on both sides of the machine. That way you can come back when it's down on wheels and tires, and you can evenly adjust both sides. We're gonna go ahead and do the last step of this, which is gonna be our bolt, misalignment spacers, nut, and cotter pin. We're gonna take these misalignment spacers, I'm gonna put them there, inside of this heim joint, top and bottom. You're gonna take your tie rod in with your misalignment spacers. You're gonna set it flat on your knuckle. Take your bolt. You might have to force this to sit right. But once you do, the bolt will go right through. We're gonna take our nut. Thread our nut on. And the cool thing about this is it's the same size as the OEM was. 16 up here, 19 on the bottom. Once we get that tight, we're gonna take our cotter pin, we're gonna put it through our hole, and we're gonna fold our sides over. That way the cotter pin doesn't come out.
Cotter pin is in, and everything is tight. That's the new HD tie rod on the passenger side.
So before we move over to the driver's side and replicate everything that we've done over here, I want to mention that you want to leave your jam nuts loose you want to take this, we're going to loosen it up. What this is going to do is it's going to help later on in the process on the driver's side when you have to turn your steering wheel all the way to the passenger side in order for you to get your ball and socket off with your upgraded channel locks.
We're gonna go ahead and do the driver's side now off camera until we get up to this same stage with our jam nuts loose and everything. And then we're gonna show how to adjust the toe in and toe out. Now that we're done with the driver's side, we're gonna put the wheels back on and drop it down and show you how we do the toe in and toe out. So now what we're gonna do is we put the machine in neutral. We're gonna kind of rock the machine, roll it back and forth, and rock the suspension to let the tie rods settle in, and then we can adjust the toe in and toe out. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the steering wheel straight, get it as straight as you think, and then we're gonna look at the front tires and adjust the toe in and toe out. It helps a lot to have someone sitting here and hold the steering wheel straight while you adjust what you need to, so you know for sure that this stays nice and straight and everything is aligned perfectly.
So we're gonna eyeball these tires real quick, and you can get it pretty close by eyeballing it, but what we're gonna do to adjust it is we're gonna take this rod, and as you saw earlier, we can twist it, and that's gonna either make our ball and socket and our tie rod in go out, or it's gonna make it go in. So with this tire, looking at it, we really need this front of the tire to come out more. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that tie rod in.
Yeah, it's moving.
That's looking pretty good. I say next step is we're gonna take our tape measure and make sure that we've got it pretty close.
So we're taking the tape measure, we're gonna measure from the center of the seam of this tire to the center on that tire. And we're gonna do the back of the tires and see what they say.
At exactly 60 inches.
60 inches? Okay. Now, to the seam of my tire. What you got over there?
59 and a quarter.
59 and what?
Are you on the seam?
Yeah.
Actually, it's 60 and a quarter.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, that's a quarter inch.
I mean, we're pretty close. Like that already looks good. Now that we got everything adjusted, we're going to tighten those jam nuts up.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tighten up these jam nuts. So we're gonna thread that one down. Thread that one down. This one, you just go ahead and put crescent wrench or the correct size wrench on it. You can go ahead and tighten it down. On this other one close to the ball and socket, you're gonna wanna take a 15 millimeter. You're gonna wanna put it on the ball and socket. Then you can take your crescent and tighten up the jam nut.
Bobby's just finishing up tightening the jam nuts on the driver's side. Then we're gonna take a little test drive and make sure it's all straight and feels tight. And we are back home after the tie rod install. The machine drove straight and it feels solid. I didn't film it because of the wind noise and I didn't feel like picking that up on camera. It occurs to me that I forgot to show why I replaced them, other than wanting the tie rods to be stronger. I had some play in these end links right here. And that's what I was saying, just for these end links, the OEM, they're $50 a piece. Why would you do that? Then you're paying $100 for that, plus shipping probably. And then instead of just paying $250, or sometimes you can get these on sale for the whole thing. And it's just beefier. I just wanted a peace of mind when I actually go take this on a trail. Like I said, if you watch my other videos, I'm not a big mud guy when it comes to side-by-sides. I am more of a rockier trail guy, kind of sand guy. I don't really care about the throwing this in a mud hole like I did that with four-wheelers and stuff. But this hopefully will help me out on the trail because, like I said, those had a lot of play just for what they were. They're not even that bad, but they had some play. Well, this is going to wrap up the video. Hopefully that helps someone install those on their OG Maverick, and you can see what they look like. I want to give a special thanks to Bobby for helping me do this and hooking me up with the parts. He didn't say this earlier, but he does do a lot of aftermarket installs and some custom. He doesn't just repair stuff. But if you are around the Bryan, College Station, Texas area and you need something your side-by-side or ATV worked on, or you want to add some aftermarket part, he's a good guy to go to. I'll just Google Hicks Customs. I'll put Hicks Customs in the description, so you just Google it. And also, I'm going to put the link for those parts in the description. So with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.